Time has expired. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Utah, Mr. Kennedy, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Burgum, for being with us. I had an opportunity a few weeks ago to share dinner with you, and after that dinner, listened to you for about an hour, and I was extremely impressed with your intelligence and capacity to handle the issues of the day. So thank you very much for being here, almost up to 4 hours, and I'm really sorry to take a few more minutes of your day and your life to answer some questions, but these are important questions. In fact, I'll just add to that and just say I have 5 interns with me right now, and I said, Doug Burgum's downstairs right now. You need to come and see Doug Burgum perform because the man is intelligent and capable, and I'm really grateful that you're serving in the capacity that you are. You have other things that you could be doing, but thank you for your patriotic service to our country. As you know, 70% of Utah's lands are actually controlled by the federal government. That involves a requirement on a regular basis for us to interact with BLM, Interior, and others agencies that make it really hard for us, as I know as a governor you had to deal with this too, for us to develop and have local control over these vital lands. And so understanding that you're sympathetic to that, I'm really grateful that you and the administration are working to enhance our permitting process, that we're trying to move those things along so we can unleash our American energy dominance, which I'm really grateful for. I want to talk for a few moments about the Antiquities Act, which for ages has been abused by various administrations. And I have a quote from the original Antiquities Act that said, quote, "The smallest area compatible with the protection of the objects," unquote, is how it's supposed to be used. Instead, we have vast tracts of land. Bears Ears, for example, is 1.4 million acres. Hovenweep, which is nearby, is only 800 acres to protect vital antiquities associated with that. So I would like to know, when it comes to Bears Ears and Grand Staircase Escalante monuments, what is an update that you can provide as to what the Trump administration is going to do regarding these monuments? Can you give me any kind of update or statement regarding that?
Well, I think you know that the Bears Ears and Escalante have been at the center of this debate about the ability for the presidential pen to both, create and then can future presidents shrink or modify or not. And that legal battle is going on right now. But I believe in following the law, and your particular quote that you cited from the 1906 Antiquities Act is the one that I view as the basis for this law, which is smallest possible acreage to protect the objects. There's other methodologies that we have, whether it's going through a longer process than just an executive order in the final days of an administration to say this area is going to become protected, it's going to become wilderness area, it's going to become part of federal lands. But the idea that we can just transform and change the land use on millions of acres, and if you look at when these monuments were created, if people don't think it's political, then look at the mass majority of them were created within the last weeks of administrations, starting in the late 1990s, and then that's when this whole trend began of this sort of broad interpretation of it. And then it's for a state like yours, creating a 1.4 million acre monument. Hey, do that in a state that's got 1% federal land. You do that in a state that's already got 69% federal land. You get a different reaction from the public and from the citizens and from the state government. So I think again, all of these decisions are also contextual with where they're at. So we're going to be taking a close look and working with the administration. Happy to work with you and others in these, particularly in the large public land states who are really impinged by these decisions.
Thank you for doing that. The reality is, you say land use, and I know that many talk about land use, but many times these monument designations are land non-use at all. It's a museum piece. It's to forever be looked at, but never touched, never felt, never utilized on any level. And I'll just say the earth is, and I'm a family doctor, and doctoring means a lot to me, is our bodies and the earth are very similar. Our bodies are meant to be used. They're not museum pieces. We should use our bodies responsibly. We should not abuse them. And our land is the same way, is that land does better when it's used and managed, but when it's abused and mismanaged or neglected, in both cases, both entities suffer. Utah is one of the fastest growing states in the country. Another thing that I'm really eager to talk to you about for moments that I have is housing, and the fact that we have federal land and we can't build anything on it, including necessary infrastructure or housing. Senator Mike Lee from the state of Utah has proposed the Houses Act, which contiguous land to localities that want to purchase at fair market value federal land so that they can use it for housing is, I think, a necessary policy that we could promulgate. What are your thoughts about federal land and the possibilities that we could use that to address our housing crisis in the West, which is a massive issue in many states?
I think in highland states, or in the high public land states, particularly Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Alaska, these are places where we have to look really hard at finding a solution. And we talked earlier today that where there was bipartisan legislation like the Southern Nevada Lands Act, Harry Reid drove that thing. It's been working. So there's models out there on how to get this thing done.
Thank you very much for your time. You've been great. And Mr. Chair, thank you for the time. I yield back.
Gentleman's time has